Hello, my name is Elizabeth, and I'm excited that you are interested in learning more about our Frontlines Ministry here at church. In these videos, we'll talk about what Frontlines is and why we exist, some character traits that we want our volunteers to have, and then we'll get into the different positions that we have in the Frontlines team. And so, Frontlines exists to create a positive welcome experience for people to feel connected to our church and open to Jesus before they get to their chair. And so within the first 7 minutes of arriving at a new church, someone will have decided whether or not they want to come back to that church or not. And so within those first 7 minutes, we want to make people feel as welcomed as we can, so that by the time they go and they sit in on the service, they're going to be open to hear the gospel. If they don't feel like they've been welcomed, they're going to go into service and they're just going to be really closed off. They're not really going to want to have to listen to the gospel that is being presented. And we don't want that, because we know of the life change the gospel has to offer, and we want people to experience that. And so the reason that we get to welcome people this way to our church is because Christ first welcomed us. Christ pursued us, initiated with us, and welcomes us into his family first. And so we now simply get to be sign pointers for people, to point people to the way that Jesus is welcoming them into his family. And so we just get to do that for every person who enters into our church. And this leads into one of the first characteristics that we want to be true of our leaders, is we want them to have a personal relationship with the Lord. It's going to be very hard, very fast to pour out if you are not experiencing the ways that the Lord is pursuing and loving and welcoming you. It's going to be hard to give that to other people if you aren't receiving it from the Lord first. And so we want all of our volunteers to have a personal relationship with the Lord, and continue to pursue that. Your walk with the Lord matters, and it matters first. But all the other characteristics that we want our volunteers to have can fall into 3 simple categories. We want them to be, to take initiative, to be informed, and to be friendly. And so, like Christ initiated with us first, we now get to initiate with other people. We get to walk up and we get to be the first ones to say hello and start a conversation and enter into these conversations with people. And it may feel a little awkward, but for a first-time guest, it will put them at ease, because it tells someone that, hey, someone recognizes me and is welcoming me and pursuing me to make me feel like I belong here. And so we just want our volunteers to have that servant heart to initiate first. And then we want our volunteers to be friendly, to smile, to wave, to make fellowship as a whole just feel really welcoming and warm, so that people feel like it is a safe place to just come as they are. And then lastly, we want our volunteers to be informed. I'm not asking you to know all of the ins and outs of fellowship, but I'm asking you to know your role and really own your role, and kind of any of the relevant information that it might take to perform well in your role. And then in the instance where someone asks you a question that you don't know the answer to, you can kind of know someone or somewhere to point that person to find the answer to that question. And so the Next Step Corner is a great resource for you in this scenario. But yeah, that's a brief overview of what the Frontlines team is. And in the next video, we'll talk about the different positions that we have to offer for you there. And so yeah, we're excited for you to join our team.